We're going to listen to Anthony Forrester, and let's get right to it.
So we're in a culture of fear right now. How are you going to change that? How's that going to be changed? And I have a couple of different questions that are going to this other question is part of that is because the system of discipline that's been implemented in the last 20 days is a system that 75 out of your 200 operators can attain. So your system of discipline now, the vast majority, only 3/8 of your operators can actually meet the requirements that are being set down by the transportation executives. How's that okay? And how are you going to move forward with the vast majority of your operators not being able to attain the discipline standards that you have out there?
So let me break this, if I can, into a couple parts. So firstly, when we look at the rule violations, by the way, this wasn't done in looking at what's the current state of our rail violations. This is also just following the law.
Mm-hmm.
So any operator is all.
What the hell is he talking about? Following the law? What the fuck law? What law? What law? See, that's a cop-out right there. Following the law. You're following the regulations, you mean? Why don't you go over to Boston and look at them, okay? They're not. What? If you think Trimet's bad, go over to Boston and check them out. Okay, so I don't know what he's talking about following the law. It's some kind of cop-out, easy way to say, oh, well, this is required by the federal government, so this is what we're doing. You know, it's bullshit.
Always responsible for the vehicle they drive. I think you know that. It's
Yep.
called line of sight. And so, frankly, Trimet was actually behind compared to most other railways and operating transit agencies, frankly, in North America. We're now taking steps to true some of that up.
I don't believe that. I don't believe him. I think he's lying about that. I've seen the statistics. And Trimet was like in the middle of the pack for the safety. And it's accidents per million miles or whatever however they do it. I remember reading it, and it was nothing remarkable. And he's trying to say that they're behind. I don't believe him. He's lying.
So we don't have rail violations. We don't have operators opening doors on platforms on the wrong side of the platform. I call things that are fundamental to running the basics of a proper railway, in my opinion. So part of this is also making sure all operators get home safely, our customer gets to where they go safely, and it's also making sure we follow the law.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you know I've been watching this stuff for years, okay? I consider myself a true transit geek in the sense that I watch this stuff, and so does my buddy Jason McHuff, okay, who's my collaborator-in-chief, okay? We talk about this stuff. We know what's going on, and I don't remember any operator error that caused any kind of hurt to anybody. I don't remember anything happening. All the incidents that happened with light rail were because the design of the crosswalks are bad, and people are not given sufficient warning. I don't remember any operator, and I'm talking over a decade of watching this stuff now, any kind of operator error that resulted in a serious injury. So he's wrong, okay, and he needs to be challenged on this. And see, this is the thing that doesn't happen, is that these authority figures make these proclamations about what our reality is supposed to be, but just because they say it doesn't make it true.
The rules of the railway, if you will, that are throughout this industry. So in terms of the culture of fear, when we did this review, and for those at home, we brought a National Transportation Safety Board investigator in, someone totally neutral to this agency, to say, give us.
Yeah, somebody totally neutral to the agency, but it was a friend of Kelsey's. It was his pal. He was known to Kelsey, and he was a friend of Kelsey. He wasn't completely neutral, was he? If he's a friend of yours. Jesus.
Your perspective on this. What do you see? And Mike Flanagan, I think you met with him, Anthony, did, and really charted a course for us, a way forward, a recommendation. And I think discipline is not something one wants to do, but it needs to be kept in context of balance. The goal is that we've got dedicated trainers out there now We had 2, we've got to 3 here recently, to truly get out and help and coach and support the operators to success. And to learn from, frankly, most all of the operators are actually very, very successful out there. They do a tremendous job every day. But it has to be kept in a construct of a palette of engineering changes we need to make, operating procedures. There's a long list of things I think you're very well aware of, and you've been actually helping contribute to those discussions as one of the constituents at the table. The goal is not to have a culture of fear, as you referred to, but we do need to true up some of our practices that are basically Railway 101. And so we're taking that journey right now. It's not always easy. I fully acknowledge that. The prize is surety for all of us, the employees, our customers, everybody involved. It is, so if we have to work at other ways to look at this, happy to do so. But we also need to be, I think, very clear on the vision of running a safe railway. That is very clear. And so discipline, we don't want to have discipline, but sometimes that's one of the things we have to put in place if people have made, in case flagrant rule violations, and they've repeated them. That's not in anyone's interest. So if there's other things we should talk around in those details, I'm happy to have that conversation with you. Around the second point of the last 20 days, I'm not familiar with the specifics of some special program that's rolled out, and happy to discuss that with you separately.
Well, no, it's been the implementation that is the way it's going, and again, it's Trimet is disciplining like it's got everything fixed. I think we're on the path to getting things fixed. I think we're on the path to fixing some fundamentals, but Trimet hasn't done it. Trimet hasn't fixed their end of it, but they're disciplining operators like everything's fixed. And it's frustrating to me when Trimet is not holding itself to the same level that it's holding its operators to. And
now that's absolutely a crucial point. When the Trimet, the agency known as Trimet, creates conditions that are unsafe, operators will be unsafe because they're working within a structure that is structurally unsafe. But transit management, and I've talked about this, transit management will always put the blame on the employee when things go wrong, when the actual fact is the structure is what's causing the problems. And that's what Anthony's trying to say here. He's getting nowhere because Kelsey doesn't want to hear it. You know, he's putting all the focus on them because that's what management does. Management always says, these are the problems down below us. We're not the problem, not the man. No. It's the people down there that are the problems. That's how they protect themselves, by pointing the finger down. And there's no way for the people down below to protect themselves from that kind of bullshit.